best of 2018 and Merry Christmas to you. This is coming out on Christmas Day. I am sure you're not listening to it on Christmas Day, but if you are, hey, thank you. Love it. Happy Christmas to you. Happy holidays if you're not. You know where I'm going. Just happy holidays to you. Anyway, I want to say Merry Christmas, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I thought that today, because it's Christmas, and you're probably not listening to this podcast anyway, but maybe you're going on the road tomorrow. I know that's normal for a lot of drivers leaving Boxing Day. Give you something to listen to. So I thought I would have the best 2018 episodes. As you know, we have a lot of changes coming up. If you've been watching us on social media, we've been putting things out a little bit at a time over the last month here, over December. But make sure you join us January 1st for our show because you're going to find out all the new things. We got some new stuff coming out on the podcast, and I'm excited to tell you about it. So we'll be going into that on our first show in January. But we want to just have a little bit of there's some interviews in 2018, and not necessarily the interviews, but the people. And as you know, this show is all about business and leadership and being the best driver you can and making some money, right? This is the important thing. Are you making any money at driving? And so I talk a lot, I'm always bridging old school and new school, right? Because to me, there's a lot of importance in being an old school driver as opposed to a new school driver. And so some of the people that I found were really instrumental to us, to me, for interviews, and hopefully to you as drivers or people in the transportation industry. My friend Brett Akey. Okay, so we talked about driver pride with Brett. Brett and I are the same style of driver. It's about keeping your rig clean. It's about being professional. It's about doing things the way that you're supposed to be doing them. And so I talked to Brett about this. Now, you probably know Brett's name because he's the one who owns Chrome Supply Warehouse. They're a sponsor of ours. Thank you very much. And so he does some pretty amazing things. So I talked to Brett about driver pride. I also talk with Al Goodhall. Now, Al was just on the podcast here in December, and we talked about finding the right fit for you. And I'm always telling people, especially when I do training classes, is, you know what? Don't worry about the money. The money will come. You'll find a good carrier. Find a good carrier that works for you the way that they need to be working for you, right? So this is an important thing that Al and I talked about, and you're going to hear a piece of that interview here. Make sure you go back and check out the full interview because there was a wealth of information in a number of other areas. Mike Lodicow. Last year in 2017 won the Driver of the Year award for the Hamilton Fleet Safety Council, the Rick Grammett Award. And he had a lot of information. He came from trucking from another country, and I thought that was really instrumental. So go back and listen to that one with Mike Lodicow. And then I had John Weston. Now, John was the hero for this year in the United States. They have an award, and I'm trying to think. It's the Highway Hero Award. And John won it. And I caught up to John at a recent trucking event in September. And so I talked to him about what it's like to be on the road as a professional driver and what made him stop that day and help somebody in their last moments of life. So make sure you check out that interview with John. So those are some of the instrumental interviews that we're going to talk about in this episode of the podcast. So make sure you stay tuned.